Hey guys, how's it going? It's Pierre. As you guys have seen, I've posted several videos of an incident that happened at a hotel, and I wanted to make this video to clarify what happened and to explain the incident. So I'm currently visiting the country of Dominican Republic, and I am at a place called Las Terrenas. Okay, this is my second time at this location. The first time I went was last year, and I enjoyed my stay, and I wanted to come back for a second round. The first time I stayed at the hotel, there weren't any incidents, everything went fine. I paid my bill at the end of my stay, everything went great, which is why I wanted to come back the second time. Well, what happened the second time? The second time around, I originally was gonna stay for 2, 3 days, and then I figured out my plans, and I decided that I wanted to stay longer. So I had spoken to the staff downstairs, and I had told them that I had a checkout date on the 3rd. The 3rd would be my final night that I would stay, and I would be checking out on the 4th. So the 3rd would be the final night that I'm at the hotel. So when I spoke to the gentleman, he told me that I needed to put down at least half. So I put down half of the requirement that was for the stay, because I had originally paid for the 3 days that I stayed. So I extended my stay, they calculated the amount, and then they told me I needed to pay at least half up front. So I put the half down, and then I just went about my business. There were drinks that were there daily, so I bought the drinks, and then there were four-wheeler car things, they're like go-karts, four-wheelers. I rented out those the four-wheelers, and then everything was going smoothly. So what happened was I had an emergency phone call. I got a phone call that a family member was at the hospital and they needed my help. For anyone that lives in the Dominican Republic, you know that a lot of hospitals don't give access to Haitians. If you don't have a passport or if you're not legal, some hospitals will straight up deny you, or they will give you care, and then immigration might pretty much, if they catch you, they'll take you and then they'll deport you. So because the family member, one, didn't have any cash, they needed to, they needed my help to make the payment. And then also I would come down there with support and try to smooth out any issues that they might have. Once I got the phone call, I immediately started to pack my things, and I told them, hey, I'd be there. I told them I have some cash for them, and then I'd pay them whatever I had, and then if they needed more treatment, then the following morning I would go to Western Union and get money. So the issue wasn't did I have money. I saw a lot of comments saying, hey, you should always walk around with cash and things like that. It was the quantity of money that I had on me. So for me to go to the hospital where my family member was, the private driver was asking me for $200 due to the urgency, right? So originally they asked me for $250, and then I negotiated down to $200. So I needed $200, and as well, I needed to pay for the hospital fees, which was going to be the priority for me. And then, in a couple of days, when I had 3 days left, I would pay for the hotel. So when I did my budgeting, I had enough money for all of that, because my payment wasn't due until the 3rd of the month. Once I got the phone call, I immediately started to pack my things, and I told them, hey, I'd be there. I told them I have some cash for them, and then I'd pay them whatever I had, and then if they needed more treatment, then the following morning I would go to Western Union and get money. So the issue wasn't did I have money. I saw a lot of comments saying, hey, you should always walk around with cash and things like that. It was the quantity of money that I had on me. So for me to go to the hospital where my family member was, the private driver was asking me for $200 due to the urgency, right? So originally they asked me for $250, and then I negotiated down to $200. So I needed $200, and as well, I needed to pay for the hospital fees, which was going to be the priority for me. And then, in a couple of days, when I had 3 days left, I would pay for the hotel. So when I did my budgeting, I had enough money for all of that because my payment wasn't due until the 3rd of the month. So I packed up all my stuff and I told the staff that, hey, I got a family emergency. I'll be back tomorrow morning. So hope, if you don't see me or anything, everything's cool. Just that I have an issue. And I went and I said, hey, if the four-wheeler is going to be available, because I had asked for a discount for renting it numerous days and stuff and whatnot. And I told the guy that I would be back tomorrow morning. So the issue became that they didn't believe me. So the worker said, oh, I don't believe you're coming back. Are you checking out? First he asked me, am I checking out? And I said, no, I'm not checking back. He said, when are you coming back? I said tonight or tomorrow morning, but more likely tomorrow morning, given the amount of distance that it would be to the hospital and back. The only reason why I considered returning back at night was to avoid traffic, because traffic can get pretty dense in the DR. So I considered traveling at night might be better, but I said worst case scenario, I'll come back in the morning. And then the guy went and proceeded to ask me, well, what if you don't come back tomorrow morning? And I said, well, worst case scenario, if I don't come back tomorrow morning, I would send somebody money to come and make the payment if I cannot be present myself. And then the guy was like, well, that's not good enough. And then I told him, well, I'm not checking out. My reservation is till the 3rd. So I know that I would definitely be back before the 3 days. So you had asked me these questions, and then I answered the question. So I figured that would be sufficient for his question and explanation. And honestly, I really didn't need to give the guy an explanation. I could come in and out anytime I want. I don't need to tell you, oh, I'm going to a hospital, or I'm going to a restaurant, or I'm going to a friend's house. I have the right to come and leave as I please. If I don't make my payment at the end of my reservation, then you have my identification, you have copies of my identification, you have the right to file a report. But what you don't have to do is, as a hotel staff, as a worker, to grab a machete and threaten to use deadly force, and actually try to use deadly force to somehow enforce payment. That's not your job. That's not your role as a hotel staff worker. So I explained that to the person, and I said, hey, I'll be back. I assure you I'm going to make the payment. I'm not checking out. My reservation is still good. I'm going to pay that reservation in full. No problem.